Hi, I'm Joshua Farley.
And I'm Marcus Soto.
And this is Inside Our Industry. All right, let's talk about how to buy solar. Like, what's the best way to buy solar? And we might be breaking some rules here, or at least that's what the finance companies tell us.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, let's start with how can you buy solar?
Cash, loan, lease.
Yep.
Are the three ways to purchase
What about
a solar
check?
system. I guess we'll take a check too.
I used to work for a guy, and he was like, he instilled that in my brain because he was, I don't know if he was crooked or whatnot, but like cash could be considered under the table or whatever, right? So like people want a discount for paying in cash. But then he's like, I give them a discount for paying in cash, and then you bring me back a check. I go, well, that's what they gave me. Like, and on the check, they wrote to my business or whatever. Like, he's like, it's not the same. Now I gotta go take time to go to the bank and cash it. Like, I gave them a discount to take all that steps out of it. Cash is cash. So
Cash is cash.
Cash, check, financing, lease.
Okay.
It's been stuck in my head ever since.
You've been sitting on that one. You've been waiting.
I've been indoctrinated. If you were to pay cash for your solar system, how would that look?
So typically we break it down into 4 different payments. It's 10% at contract signing. We take up front. We get started on paperwork and all the administrative side of the project. And then once all the permits and everything are pulled for the project itself, and we're getting ready to actually start the project.
So like permits and engineering are all included in that.
Yep. Once we're actually getting ready to schedule and start the project, then we take a 40% payment at that point. We actually go do the install itself, and then we collect another 40% payment. Once the system gets turned on and you're actually producing the power, we collect that final 10% payment. So it's 10, 40, 40, 10.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So in the first 10 is non-refundable if we've got permits and engineering. Like that's just it. And if you want any changes, then we have to charge again to change the engineering on that.
Yep.
That covers everything we need to get a permit and have the city say, yes, we can do it. Right?
Yep.
Okay. The next 40% we purchase material and then we go right to install. Mm-hmm. How long does the install take?
Installs usually
1 day. That's right. One day. Don't let them have it. Satisfaction, guaranteed. Depending on the size of your system. Asterisk,
depending on how big your system is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually done in 1 day.
All right.
1 day. A crew can get a pretty big
check
system.
Is the same thing. You're going to take 4 different checks.
4 different checks.
Right.
Yep.
What about financing?
Well, we missed like credit card payments.
Yeah.
We missed credit card payments, which is the same. It's the same pay schedule as the other ones.
But we charge a fee for running a credit card.
Yep, we charge a fee for running a credit card. And we'll just add that on when we run that credit card. If you end up paying only the first initial payment with a credit card, then the fee only gets added to the
I
initial
pay for
payment.
a lot of stuff with my credit card. Mm-hmm. Even if I have to pay a fee, because sometimes, depending on the card I use, I get more back in points.
Yeah, I do
in
too.
benefits, flight. That's why I get to go to Hawaii. I'm going to Hawaii soon.
5% cash back.
Business class. No, it's first class.
It's first class.
All on points.
Yep.
I paid for those.
Yep.
I definitely
pay for nothing's free.
Right.
Nothing's free.
Let's talk about financing.
So the financing, it's just some paperwork you got to fill out to make sure that your credit's up to date and everything like that. And once you qualify for financing, then we get started on the project right then with the paperwork and everything.
What kind of credit score do you need?
I believe currently the low is a 640.
640.
Mm-hmm.
So people that don't qualify, like if they don't have a 640, they don't qualify.
They won't qualify for the financing.
You pull in credit reports, or are we doing soft pulls?
I
love how I'm interviewing you like as if I don't, as if your business isn't ours.
Right. We're not.
So
working
what
on
are
the
you doing
thing.
with? Are you pulling credit reports?
So our partners, our credit partners, are pulling hard credit pulls. Yeah.
Hard at contract signing or like soft pulls to get like.
So they'll pull a soft pull pool to determine whether or not you qualify or not. But as soon as you decide to move forward with that, as soon as we start uploading documentation and everything like that, then it turns into a hard credit.
Because I mean, when I apply for credit someplace, anytime somebody looks at my credit, my score goes down.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me started on that bullshit.
Even
like,
when they've
made this fucking bullshit industry about, you want to, okay, you got credit, but you can't get anything without credit, and they can't know you have credit unless they look at your credit, and if they look at your credit, then it goes down.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're
Finance
doing
industry.
soft pulls initially,
Yep.
so that's not affecting anybody's credit.
Right.
Right? So between the time that they soft pull and they sign the contract, and now we're ready to go to financing,
It'll transfer into a hard pull.
right, then it'll go into a hard pull because we're actually going to be pulling money on your
On that
behalf.
project. Yeah.
So we don't. There are some things we don't want them to do between now and then. It's like buy a car, have somebody else look at their credit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want the score to go down. If you're like, hey, yeah, your soft pull came back, you're good. It's a 650. Like, we're good to go. And then we're ready. We sign contracts. We pull it in. Oh no, you don't qualify anymore. What happened? Well, we just bought a new car. We just financed this, or I just was looking at a new house.
Just spent $5,000 on my credit card, like whatever it is.
Whatever happened,
Yep,
like, you're
just-
right there. So you want to make sure if you're about to purchase something, you're on the cusp. If you're worried, don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's important, but it's your life, right? You do whatever you want. If you want to move forward with the financing that we're providing, then you can do that.
As far as the financing goes, we start that process. We start your project as far as all the admin permits and everything like that. We go, and throughout the process, we have to upload certain documentations and pictures and proof that the project is moving forward, so that we can get financed for that project. And then at the end, there's a sheet that the customer pretty much has to sign off on to give us the final payment, saying, hey, my project is completed.
Gotcha.
And we have to show that the system is actually working.
So there's checks and balances.
Checks and balances, yeah.
Okay, so financing. So we partner with a good financing firm that provides what we think is the best options for our clients.
Right.
And a better rate of return, right? So let's talk a little bit about the plans that are available through our financing.
So there's a lot of different plans available through our financing. Our financing is for the solar industry specific. So they kind of build their financing around the solar industry and the idea that there's the ITC, the federal tax credit, and stuff like that. But it's anywhere from 5, 10-year loans, 15-year loans, and then we have a 20 and a 25-year loan as well, with interest rates as low as 2%.
Can we get any lower?
I think if you do a 15 or a 10-year, they get as low as 0.99.
So we can get under a 1% interest rate.
Yeah.
But we're paying dealer fees. You're
fees.
buying that. So you're paying points. So like we hear people say that we're paying points or a percentage. We're paying points on the loans, typical for any loan on the market, but they tell us that we're not allowed to tell the client how much they're paying.
Yeah, so pretty much they call them dealer fees instead of finance charges, so that they can kind of work their way around what that is.
We don't understand it. We think that solar, we're still in the infancy stage of solar. Solar is going to be getting more and more prevalent in our lives, so more and more resources are going to come out. It's going to be easier and easier to finance and less cost for the homeowner. All of those ways to buy solar, cash, check, credit card, financing, are typically going to get a 30% tax or 26% tax credit from the federal government, the ITC. And right now they're working on that Green New Deal that they're trying to push it back to 30% and extend it. So that most of those people that are buying solar are doing it because they have tax liability.
Right.
So they have they get that credit from the government. If they didn't have tax liability, it would make that ROI even worse, right? So, yeah. I mean, and I know we posted something the other day that said our paybacks are like 8 to 10 years. We've seen them as low as 5 or 5 and 6, and as high as 10 to 12. But if you're without that tax credit, you're pushing even further.
You're pushing out to like 18.
But if you have no tax credit, then that may be where we talk about leasing.
Yeah, leasing.
I mean, really, the leasing is a viable option if you have no tax credit. So if you're a nonprofit or you're a retired, you're in retirement, you don't have a job, because it's the same concept. You're trying to make your bill lower on a monthly basis.
Yep.
Which you can, and help the environment.
Pretty much how that's all getting built in is that leasing finance company is taking that tax credit on your behalf, and then they're factoring that number into the lease payments that you'll be paying over the next 20 years.
Totally. But then they guarantee production, and there's benefits there for the people that don't have a tax liability. Everything we sell has guaranteed production too,
from the manufacturer.
And they get warranties from us, and that. So everybody's protected whether you buy it from us or not. Or well, I can't say that you're protected if you don't buy it from us. But some of the companies out there I know that are reputable, you're protected, but you're protected with us. But be careful. Check the ROC. Let's talk about home equity. So if you're buying, so here's the hack, right? So if you're doing something with your house and you're refinancing and pulling money out to do a project in your house, wrapping a solar system into your home line, your mortgage is probably the best thing you can do for yourself. We do a lot of new build solar, so having that home purchase with your solar on it is by far the best way to finance a solar system.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best rates you get the best rates up front. Your system is bought and paid. It's already bought and paid for by, there's nobody holding you down or leaning your house. So it's all under the same lien holder umbrella, which is your first mortgage position.
Like paying for your solar system with cash.
Yeah.
To us.
And we've seen some
or check.
Right. And we've seen some of these dealer fees is like 20%. Sure, the mortgage rates are the best that they've ever been right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Refinancing a house, pulling out a little bit of equity so that you can invest it into a solar system.
Right.
Definitely makes
Or if
sense.
you're buying one brand new, get it in there. Have the builder put it on there. Ask for Redline. If they're not doing solar already, ask for us. We work with a ton of builders.
Yep.
I think that's for me, that's the hack, right? That's the hack that we found people happy with. Like, hey, now I don't have 2 payments. I don't have 3 payments going out to different financing companies. I don't have a second lien on my house. I don't have to worry about having something else affect my credit score because, more payments you have.
We had a job yesterday. Of somebody that refinanced their house and pulled out a little bit of equity and now is putting a solar system on the house so they can save on their electricity bill.
Right, and if you come to us and say, I have cash, you're going to get a better price than you have financing because of those dealer fees and the things that we have to do on our end to do those things cost money, the administrative costs and certain things that we have to take into consideration. So if you're buying, cash is king, and you can get cash from refinancing, or if you're buying in a home, put it in brand new.
Running a business, we know that any expenses that we incur ultimately has to go down to the customer. That's just how a business works. So anything anybody extra is charging us to do your project, that cost is ultimately going down to you, and we want to minimize that as much as possible.
Totally. That's it. Get out there with cash.
Cash is king. Report them.
Right.